The Israeli Figure Skating Federation supported the International Skating Union decision to allow Russian skaters to compete as neutrals. This was stated by Anna Slavin, Secretary General of the Israeli Federation. Our federation supports the ISU's decision and welcomes the return of the Russians. This decision is aimed at developing international figure skating, and we always support such steps, Slavin said. The International Skating Union announced a phased admission of Russian and Belarusian athletes to competitions as neutrals, with limited quotas and without officials. The decision is based on IOC recommendations and a security analysis. Following the 2026 Winter Olympics, the ISU emphasized that athletes are not responsible for the actions of their governments, and that security remains the primary criterion. The ISU also clarified that the IOC recommendations do not apply to other countries, such as Israel or the United States, and that no security threats have been posed by them. The decision is not related to the new ISU vice president from Russia, who was removed from the discussion. 2022 Olympic silver medalist Alexandra Trusova responded to the news that Russian athletes will be allowed to compete in international competitions as neutrals. The figure skater has not competed in a competition since November 2022. I haven't had such anticipation for a season in a long time. I feel like it will be interesting, to say the least, Trusova wrote. Frenchman Benoit Richaud choreographed her short program, while Daniil Gleichengo's Andy Terry Tutberidze choreographed her free program. Alexander Julin. I hope everything goes well with Stepanova and Buchan's admission. They've been eagerly awaiting this moment. The coach of five-time Russian ice dancing champions Alexandra Stepanova and Ivan Buchan hopes they will be allowed to compete internationally. This is probably the first good news in the last 5 years, so yes, you could call it good news, because now it makes sense to both train and compete. I know that Sasha Stepanova and Vanya Buchan were desperately looking forward to this moment. Their lives were dedicated to the Olympics. When they were deprived of this opportunity in 2026, it was a huge blow, but they decided to continue skating. Buchan and Stepanova will be very motivated. Now the ISU has put forward the same criteria for obtaining neutral status. Do you have any hope that there won't be any issues with admission this time? I have great hopes for a woman named Coventry. She's an athlete herself and wants to leave a big mark on the history of the Olympic movement. As far as I know, Coventry wants to make things like they were in the old days, when sport and politics weren't mixed. If she succeeds, it will be a huge achievement. Coventry will simply be the greatest person in the history of the Olympic movement. But there are still concerns that Stepanova and Buchan could be denied entry again. I've always had concerns about everything lately, but I'm an optimist. I hope for the best. I hope everything will be fine with Buchan and Stepanova's entry, Julin said. Alexander Lekernik, honorary vice president of the International Skating Union ISU. To be honest, I didn't expect this. There were discussions about it, and there were IOC recommendations. I think they played a big role, and only allowing juniors would be illogical, because many athletes can skate both senior and junior, and it would create a mess that would be difficult to sort out. As for the calendar, how practically everything will be implemented is still unclear. Skaters must obtain neutral athlete status in order to compete. It's difficult to understand who will be granted entry and how long the process will take. We'll have to wait a little while to see how it all works. For now, this is the general direction. How it will work is still unclear. Let's say there is a commission. How long will it take to make a decision? Will Russians be able to qualify for the Junior Grand Prix this season? I don't understand. Of course, we will be competitive, but that doesn't mean we'll come and win, as the Olympic Games demonstrated. Therefore, a return is, in any case, a difficult and time-consuming process. To say that we'll arrive and defeat everyone, I'm afraid that's not true, Lekernik said. Choreographer Daniil Gleichengo spoke about his emotions after the news of Russian figure skaters being admitted as neutrals. The wait has been so long that all that's left is faith. The first emotion is joyful excitement and relief. But then thoughts immediately arise. What will happen next? How many juniors will be able to go? And how many events? Both juniors and seniors need to improve their rankings and compete in Series B tournaments. Most likely, only one athlete in each discipline will be admitted to the European and World Championships, so the competition for this chance will be incredible, Gleichengo said. As for adaptation, it's individual. There are experienced athletes who have been waiting all these years to return to the international arena, and for the juniors, This will be their first international experience, much like all our stars once began their careers. But these are more likely just the coach's initial thoughts. From a global perspective, the main thing is that it happened, the specialist added. Three-time Olympic figure skating champion Irina Rodnina shared her opinion on the return of Alexandra Ignatova-Trusova. It's foolish to call the upcoming season Trusova's season. She's coming back, that's good, but figure skating doesn't revolve around one athlete. It's far from certain that Trusova will win anything. There are plenty of other contenders. We need to build on something specific, not on past achievements, Rodnina said.